three things to say. God bless our troops, God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
It's my favorite track, and it's the second time we've been here this season, but unlike the first time we were here, it's daylight, and it's the final race of the season for the QSR Xfinity Series live on Vspeed. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host all season long, joined by Jake Rees back up here in the booth with me. The door banging download with the redneck announcer. Co-commentary here tonight. Jake, I tell you what, man, the points, they are tight. We can bring it up on the screen, but talk a little bit about what we got in store for us tonight.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you, I mean, you basically said it right there, Bradley. I mean, there you see the points before you right there. Literally, I mean, me and you were just talking about this just a second ago. I mean, literally, the top six have a damn good shot at trying to win the championship here tonight, folks. It's not like the NASCAR point system that it is now, you know, as far as you win and you're the champion. Now, say Caleb Nelson wins the race, odds are he will be the champion, but, I mean, that is a tight points gap. And, Bradley, as me and you know, we've been watching all these races for however many races that we've had so far this season. We know that anything can happen, so a lot is at stake right here. A lot can happen right here in this short 100 laps that we're going to have here tonight at Kansas.
Absolutely can, and it's going to go based off of positions for 5 points each. You've got bonus points for leading a lap and leading the most laps. These guys are going to have to pace themselves for 100 laps here tonight. Up on the race analysis, 45-mile-per-hour pit road speed limit, 4 tire sets available, and as always, 100% fuel that we've ran all season long with the iRacing Fix setup. Take a quick look at the track map. Kansas, we've seen it before, 1.5 miles. Well, it's going to be 17 degrees of progressive banking in the corners. The high line, usually dominant, but here in the sunlight, the bottom might be the feeder. Might be able to get some passing going early. It's going to be really racy out there as we get set to go trackside here just momentarily. So with that, let's get him down there. Get the grid up on the screen. Starting on the pole here tonight, it's the guy leading the points with a 32.219. It's Caleb Nelson in the 07. Jared Ziegler is going to start to his outside. These two drivers up there in the top 4 points. You saw it just a moment ago. They're going to be top 2 on the front row. Starting in row number 2 belongs to Morgan Cook, Team Vspeed. Very good shot here tonight at the points. And another guy with a good shot up there in the top 4. If you thought it was tight, it just got tighter. Kevin West starting in 4th. Pit spot goes to last week's winner, Dakota Floyd. First time win here on Vspeed and in the QSR in his 3rd race. Won Atlanta. Daniel Monex lost the points lead last week after having internet connectivity issues and got shuffled out of that race. He'll start in the 6th position. 7th spot goes to Galen Wunsch in the 199 with Quentin Stewart in 8th. And rounding out your top 10, it's 6th place in the points there with Ronnie Joyner and Ethan Wisnowski on the outside.
And Mike Patron in the number 60 is going to roll off P11 here tonight with Marshall Newton in the 76 rolling off in P12. Brandon Yates is going to roll off in P13 with White Walker starting in P14. CJ Gates is going to roll off P15 with Randy Sally going to be rolling off P16. Austin Thomas and Austin Dowdy 17th and 18th. Couple of Austins back there in row 9. And Ryan Philbrick will start in P19 with Paul Ayala going to be rolling off in P20.
5 more cars out on the racetrack. A few of these drivers did not take a time. Dirk Likes, Chuck Sweeting. Then you've got Derek McMurtry, Brent Allen. Rounding out your 25-car field, it's Frank Walsh in the number 54. So here we are for the final race of the season. The first inaugural season of the QSR Xfinity Series. Here we go into the restart zone for the first time. Caleb Nelson into turn 1. Green flag is out. We're live and racing.
We are ready to go. 100 laps to decide the inaugural QSR Xfinity Series champion, and already seeing guys jump up to the top side. Caleb Nelson, Ziegler going to slide up there. West is going to slide up there. Morgan Cook down on the bottom side with last week's winner Dakota Floyd. All those guys trying to work down there on the bottom side, but looks like Nelson starting to get a little bit going up there on the top side, but Morgan Cook hanging tough down there on the bottom.
Hanging to the inside of the 57, offset 3 wide as Dakota Floyd cuts the tri-oval, and you'll see that a lot here tonight. And we have a yellow flag just as I put the ticker up. Looks like Randy Saleh out of turn 4. Paul Ayala, the 95, get involved off of turn 4. This is going to change the strategy a little bit here. These guys were kind of gunning somewhere around that 55 lap mark, give or take. And this will put them a little bit further. And 100% fuel here, Jake. You know that these guys have got it all figured out for how far they can go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know that as well as anybody. I mean, and you know, these guys they've literally been practicing all week long, knowing that there is a possibility that they could be called the champion. We'll take a quick look at the instant replay. There you see Randy Sally just kind of gets up into the fence a little bit, comes down into Paul Ayala, and then basically everybody just kind of tries to see if they can get around it. I feel like it was only really 2 cars with the exception of Derek McMurtry all the way up on the top side, riding on board with a low Chevy. And there you see Hell Far. He just sent it all the way on the top side and just tried to see if he could find a hole. And unfortunately, Sally's, no control of the car, just spins it all the way around, backs it up into the wall. And then right in front of McMurtry, there you see Ayala. He goes up basically on 2 wheels, kind of a bicycle looking kind of deal on 4 wheels. And then obviously McMurtry piles into Sally. So unfortunately, Ayala might be all right, but Sally and McMurtry, I think they could be done just as fast as they started.
Yeah, Sally got the front end ripped off of it. McMurtry got some pretty heavy front end damage. The 95 was able to kind of get away with that with minimal damage, but that brings out caution number 1 on lap number 2, just as we were crossing the stripe there. And the first lap lead will go to Caleb Nelson. And a lot of these cars stayed out on the racetrack. Your top 20 almost, all the way back to Austin Dowdy in 18th position. And the number 8 will be out there on the racetrack. So it's Ryan Philbrick, Brent Allen, Frank Walsh. A lot of these cars just coming in to top off with fuel. And so the strategy's already being played here, Jake. And that's going to stretch this run a little bit further for guys like Ryan Philbrick, Brent Allen. They can get a lap lead. I know for some of these guys, it's not so meaningful about points, but maybe just a last-ditch effort to win a race.
Yeah, and this place can produce that, honestly. Bradley, it can really produce somebody to go ahead and just finish the season on a high note. Maybe some of these guys has not had the season that they particularly wanted. What better way to go ahead than close out the season with a win? That's the biggest thing, and that's something that I've talked about before, Bradley, is way different than what you would see in, say, football or basketball or baseball, is when you get out here running for a championship. Well, you literally got the whole damn field racing with you while you're trying to win that championship, and that's just the one thing about racing as far as playoff matters goes, is that it can really throw a wrench in it. It can screw you, but it can help you in the process as well. So, I agree with some of these guys coming down. Go ahead, top off. Not necessarily on the tires wise. I'm sure none of them decided to take tires, but go ahead and take the gas. Well, hell, they got 5 sets in the pits, so yeah, why not? Go ahead and burn you a set if you need to. But we just saw right there what happened right there with, I believe it was Sally that was up in the wall. That top side here at Kansas, it's like high risk, high reward up there on that top side. Sally, he overstepped it a little bit, jumped the cushion for some of those dirt fans out there, just kind of got up a little bit too high, got up into the wall, and then it can get really tight, especially coming off of turn 4.
The safer barriers are only safe when you don't hit them. And as he comes off of turn 4, collects the 48 of Derek McMurtry, Paul Ayala in the 95, and they are running 22nd through 24th here for the second start of this race. We didn't even get them up to full song. Tires still cold. Here we go for lap number 5, beginning number 6. Caleb Nelson, let's try this again into turn 1.
Caleb Nelson's actually going to get a better jump this time around than what he got off the first one. Ziegler is going to slip back to second. Morgan Cook, that is, in a side-by-side battle with Dakota Floyd. Cook's going to get clear, but will he be able to jump up? Kevin West, he's going to stick his nose in there. He wants to have a little bit of this up here and say that he may be the champion as we got him wrecking back there coming off of turn 2, but we're still green now as now the caution comes out.
Austin Thomas is around in the 20 machine. Rough start here to the day. So it looks like guys a little bit anxious here to get out of the corners and possibly another trim on the wall. A guy gets into another guy and we have a yellow.
Yeah, that happens right there. And this is going to get kind of scary, to be honest with you. What actually happens right here. CJ Gates in the 23 is where all this happens. Watch CJ right here. You see him right there in that blue car. He just hooks a hard right. And to me, that right there tells me, Bradley, is that I believe the wheel disconnected. You can kind of tell. Watch how his wheel is right here. You'll be able to tell 100% when he goes into turn 1. If that sucker goes as straight as an arrow, then you know 100% the wheel just got nailed. I mean, it literally just got disconnected. You see it, there it is. No way for CJ to be able to get around it. And then Thomas and them just trying to fight and get around it. And then they end up getting caught up in their own little stack up. But that happens. I mean, Bradley, we talked about it before. You know, in real racing, you got, you know, tire failures, you got engine failures. Well, sim racing is a little bit different. You got part failures or wheel failures, or hell, the seat may fall apart. You never know what could happen on sim racing.
Your child might come along and just unplug you from the internet. You never know what's going to happen.
That's possible.
So, yeah, I mean, we can chalk it up to kind of similar to those mechanical failures that you can have in real life racing where the internet can go down. You could have wheel malfunctions, hardware malfunctions, or just iRacing gets DDoS that day. We saw that there a couple weeks ago and had to postpone the Thursday night finale. So yeah, at any time you can have these issues, but I know these guys, it starts to work on your psyche just like in real life. You'll get progressively more and more anxious as these laps tick away because you had a game plan coming in here, Jake, to run your full stint, to pace yourself, and then once you get those laps start ticking away under caution, well, your window for passing cars goes away.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. And also, I was going to add another little trick to it about failures. I mean, hell, you could probably spill your beer as well, and you're looking down, oh, Lord, it's getting all over the carpet. The wife's going to be mad. But, I mean, that's another deal. I mean, just completely out of the ordinary. But, yeah, I mean, I agree, you know, just the lap's winding down. Granted, it is still early. We're coming around, obviously, right here to lap number 9 of the event. Still time, obviously. It's 100 laps, very, very long race right here. It's a mile and a half here at Kansas. But it's like you said, those laps tick away. You don't want to be in the situation later on down in the race where you sit there and go, well, damn, I wish I might have had that extra 3 laps to be able to catch somebody and have a shot to try to win the championship. So that's one of those things that these guys is going to be having going through their heads, is just hoping that they are not going to be in that situation where they wish they had those 3 or 4 laps.
Checking in as we double up with your top 10, you've got Nelson, Ziegler, Cook, West, Floyd, Monix, Wunsch, Stewart, Joyner, and Petrin. The only driver in the top 10 that's actually changed positions is the 60 car, and that might just be because of the pacing here. We're occasionally seeing cars jostle around for position because they're holding lines on the inside and outside of each other. But the top 10 has not changed hands. It's been very brief that they get a run. We're going to try it again here for a third time as the pace truck will get out of the way to begin lap number 10. Caleb Nelson onto the loud pedal. Will he get as good of a jump as he did last time on the rest of the field? Looks like Morgan Cook's going to hang with him pretty well this time.
Wow, yeah, I mean, fantastic jump right there. They actually kind of jumped a little bit before the restart box, but now Cook, he's going to take the momentum. Morgan Cook has had enough of trying to ride behind Caleb Nelson. He's going to dive it down to the inside, but Nelson obviously going to get the run on the top side, but Cook has something to say about this whole championship battle. We heard about it from some of the big guys up in the QSR area, where the top 4 was separated by 26 points. Morgan Cook sitting on that 5th spot right now in the standings. He may be sitting there saying, hold my beer, boys. I may have something to say about this trying to win a championship here tonight.
Dives back to the inside into 1 and 2. Team Vspeed on the bottom of the racetrack. On the inside, the guy that's led every single lap so far. Lap 11 down the backstretch. Ziegler to the outside. Cook loses a little bit of speed, gets some side draft, dives it back down to the bottom again here in 3 and 4.
Cook down on the bottom, Ziegler up top 3 on your screen. And now, here comes Nelson. He gets the run. Now, here comes Ziegler trying to get the draft. Nelson jumps down. Cook's going to get a little draft. Side by side, door to door between Cook and Ziegler for that 2nd spot. Cook sends it in very hard. Nelson almost ended up tagging the fence, but he's able to keep it straight. Ziegler side by side once again with Cook is Kevin West trying to get rolling right here. He's got Dakota Floyd all up in his back bumper, but the battle for the lead is on in Kansas.
Running that bottom, it's kind of contrary to what we saw at the night version of this racetrack just 16, 17 weeks ago. Race number 2 of the season. Morgan Cook concedes the 3rd position and has Jared Ziegler here in front. Now moves up to the high line. They're going to get a good run. Here comes Kevin West on the bottom. He has Dakota Floyd behind him, top 5. They've pulled away. Daniel Walneck's getting by. Teammate, that's Galen Lunch up there. Looks like he's blinking here a little bit tonight in the 199.
Yeah, and he's also got his teammate Ronnie Joyner right behind him. Joyner coming in tonight 6th in the points. Both these guys trying to see if they can get up here, flex a little muscle right up here, and maybe catch up to Nelson and Ziegler and try to get it going. You did see Galen Wunsch blinking just a little bit. That might have been a sign from the teammates of Molnix and Joyner maybe hollering at Galen saying, hey, buddy, you blinking, get the hell out of the way. We got to go. We're trying to win a championship. And that's exactly what they did. Wunsch is going to hold firm back in that 8th spot right in front of Quentin Stewart and Mike Petrin doing a pretty good job up here trying to hold steady and maybe get him a top 10 tonight. But Wunsch is still blinking as Cook gets into the wall.
Morgan Cook tags the wall there. Mike Petrin back here. It's a gaggle of cars from 10th place on back, still side by side. Here's Petrin to the bottom, inside of the 85 of Wyatt Walker. Walker had a great top 5 there last week in Atlanta. Put together a great race. Struggling a little bit here to start out, but it looks like for the 85 machine, starting to pick up some positions. 95 back on the rebound after being part of the first caution here today. He's offset 3 wide coming out of 4.
Boy, he is straight up moving and almost moved it straight up into the wall. Paul Ayala rocking and rolling, moving through this field here in Kansas. He's got Philbrick right in front of him with White Walker up there as well. But Ayala's starting to turn some heads back here at the back of the field, showing some serious speed. He's going to get a hell of a run coming off of 2, trying to get that side draft on Philbrick. One thing I do want to mention about this, though, Bradley, that side draft, these guys got to be very careful because what can happen, net code can come out of nowhere and it can straight up screw you as the Floyd in the grass.
And they're going to jostle around with 3 wide. They all miss him. Somehow, everyone avoids the 18 coming back up on the racetrack through the tri-oval. Let's take an instant replay and see what happened to Dakota Floyd.
You're going to see Dakota Floyd right here battling with Morgan Cook. And I got a feeling he probably got loose. Maybe no, he just slides up. Cook got in the wall, and then Floyd tried to miss him. Went in the grass. Daniel Molnix, Ronnie Joyner, both of those drivers going to slide right by both drivers. But still, hell of a save by both drivers, being Floyd and Cook, because that could have been disastrous for both of them.
So Dakota Floyd back to 12th position after that. Wyatt Walker going by, actually getting past Pagliala all the way to the top 10 now after that caution on lap 2. He's up to 10 in just about 16 laps.
That's moving right there, son. That is some straight up moving right there, especially for what happened to Pagliala basically on the first lap. Everybody really slipping, sliding, trying to keep it off of the wall. You see this battling going on back here right behind him. You got Philbrick back here trying to get a hold of Wyatt Walker. Walker damn near cleared out the fence coming off of turn 4, and he is going to live and die by that top side. Quentin Stewart trying to hold it down on the bottom side. Philbrick trying to go with him. Check it out. Got the driver cam right there with Quentin Stewart on the inside, battling it out with Wyatt Walker here at Kansas.
Trying to hold it down to the bottom. Another car on the wall. Looks like the 95 tagged it there. Chuck Sweeting almost followed him up there. A lot of turbulence in this race very early. A lot of different drivers have found that turn 4 exit wall.
And that's normal, honestly, Bradley, you know, with these cars, how heavy these Xfinity cars is. I mean, this place, if you run that top side enough, you will start to burn off that right front tire, and that will cause you to slide up and get close to tagging the fence, which is what we're seeing a lot of drivers do. We're seeing a hell of a battle up here right now. I believe this is for the 3rd spot right here. Ziegler has caught up to Kevin West. Starting to put a little bit of a pressure on him right now. Actually, West gets by him. Ziegler's struggling a little bit, so Kevin West rocking and rolling. He's going to see if he can get a run. He gets a pretty good run off, too. He's trying to reel in Caleb Nelson for this lead.
He's gained 2 spots on his way to the lead. He was one of the few cars that stuck with the bottom line the whole time through the first 2 stints that we ran very briefly. And he still continues to run the bottom through 3 and 4, and I think that's kind of playing it safe. You can see he has right front damage, so he's decided, I'm going to put as much distance as I can between me and that outside wall. Here he goes into 1 and 2, just right on the edge as he comes out of the cushion.
We got a caution on the speedway looking back, trying to find them. I believe it might have been Austin Dowdy, one of the drivers that got involved. A couple of other drivers also getting involved. Oh, wow, Pagliala. I think he got involved as well. Unfortunate to see Pagliala straight up was moving through the field. And, yeah, there you see him right there moving through the grass as well. Round and around goes Pagliala right there on the front stretch. Looked like he got a little contact with Chuck Sweeten when they was coming off forward. Got a little tight. It's something we're going to have to really be keeping our eye on here tonight, Bradley.
Back it up a little bit here. Yeah, he bounces off the inside door, goes across, almost gets into the 13 of Brent Allen. We'll back that up one more time here and show you the onboard.
This is a hell of a ride that you're fixing to see right here, folks. As you see Allen right here, literally right in front of him. And Yala tried to get it straightened back up, but thankfully he was able to hook it back to the left and go ahead and spin it through the grass, because I'm telling you, if he would have hooked it hard right, we would have been talking about a whole different big deal. Check this ride out right here. Look at the wheel movement right here by Yala. He's got that sucker left, right, up, down, backwards, forwards, however the hell you want to look at it. But he was able to save it. Nobody hit him. So Pagliala brings out another caution here tonight at Kansas.
And that brings down the entire field here on lap 23 for pit stops. An unusual average of cautions we've already seen here today. Typically used to about 2 cautions max through the season. We're already at 3 to bring that average up a little bit. We were at 2.3 to start the chase, and that's the last time I did the figures on the numbers there. Well, tonight, a little bit of extra. Guys topping off with fuel. Down and away, the 18, the 51, side by side. Looks like Floyd's going to win the race off of pit road.
Absolutely he will, and honestly, Bradley, I mean, it can be a numerous amount of factors as to why we keep having these cautions. And I think a lot of it's got to do with these guys, this being the last season, wanting to come out here and make a statement and be ready for the next season when the QSR Xfinity Series kicks off for their next season. So, I mean, they got to make a statement to be able to go into the offseason and have something to show for it. And that's what some of these guys are doing. These guys up at the front not really getting too crazy right now. give it time. Give it time. Let it get past halfway, and let's see what happens, especially, I'd say, around lap 75. And if we get a restart, I mean, give a dams will be busted. I promise you, Bradley, they will be busted 9 ways to Sunday.
No doubt about that. And you know what I would really like is to get one of these guys from Venom Motorsports in here. Daniel Molnex, who's on the fast approach, trying to get back up to the points lead. You've got Ronnie Joyner, who is 30 points out from it as well. Excuse me. Last week we saw Caleb Nelson with the win to take over the points lead, but there's quite a few of these guys that they hang out post-race, but it's times like these when we have a few cautions in a row, you'd really like to pull them up. Kevin West is another one that I'd love to hear what he has to say about how this thing's handling, because everybody has some paint scrubbed off on the right-hand side.
Well, I mean, and, you know, they could be in hiding, believe it or not, Bradley. I mean, they could be in their own little world, trying to, I guess you could say, try to block out all the noise, not really wanting to talk about what's going on and try to worry about what they're doing. Some drivers are like that. They don't want to talk to nobody. They want to try to do their thing. As you see right there, got the driver cam going on. Yeah, I mean, hell, I don't blame him one bit. I drive in the dark myself. Yeah. I mean, hey, no joke, man. I race in the dark. I turn all the lights off. I don't like lights and everything else while I'm racing either. So I guess that's something me and old Monix has got in common right there. But that's like I said, he's probably in his own little world, probably over in the Venom Motorsports chat, just trying to just block out the noise. That's something you want to do. Like you talked about, no distractions, block out the noise. You got a championship to try to win right here in front of you.
Setting up here with the front row, Dakota Floyd looks like top off with fuel only, 9.5 in the box. That's cutting it close for 2 tires, but 11.4 for Morgan Cook. Looks like right sides only, and then it's Kevin West, Caleb Nelson, Quentin Stewart. We got 11.4, 11.6, and then Quentin possibly a little extra fuel and some 2 tire stops. But most of this top 10 took 4 tires. It's going to be a real big challenge for Dakota Floyd.
Yeah, it's going to be a big challenge right here. We'll see if he can hold it off. Obviously tried to go for 2 wins in a row, one last week at Atlanta. See if he can try to win here tonight here at Kansas. I believe they were at Vegas last week, if I'm not mistaken, Bradley.
It might have been Vegas. I don't even know.
That's where they was at. They was at Vegas last week, but Dakota Floyd got the win, so trying to go for 2 in a row right here. Morgan Cook trying to be that hold my beer guy, and then obviously the trailer park dude, Kevin West and Caleb Nelson, who's led the majority of the laps here tonight as we're getting ready for a restart.
Drone camera across the top. Wheel spin for the 18. Green flag's out for the 4th time today. Here we go with the one of Kevin West to the inside into turn 1.
We'll see how fast Kevin West tries to dispose of Dakota Floyd. Right behind him, you got Daniel Monix starting to see if he can charge through the field. He's up to 3rd. West trying to look down to the inside of Floyd. Floyd going to keep it up top. West sends it down on the bottom side. Kevin West trying to go for the lead here tonight at Kansas, and Monix tries to follow him as well. Caleb Nelson jumping in line as now Floyd gets up into the wall. West trying to get clear. I think he is going to get
clear.
Cars
in the back wrecking as well. Cars around. That's Brandon Yates in the 15. And that will bring out our 4th caution of the night. Kevin West took the lead just as the yellow flag came out. He will be the leader to resume this restart. Morgan Cook fell back to 5th. The front row fell apart. But how about this out of turn 4? We barely got up to speed. We got out of turn 4, and here we are again, Jake.
Cautions breed cautions. That's what I'm seeing out here. Brandon Yates and Austin Thomas, both of them getting a little bit of contact right here. Look like Yates gets tight coming off of turn 4. It's exactly what he does. He slides right up and comes straight up into Thomas like he wasn't even there. There you see Yates basically losing the whole back end of the car, losing everything literally off the back end of his race car. And then Thomas tried to see if he could try to get around it. Thomas is going to have a little bit of damage. Check this out. I mean, it's just like literally he came straight up like he wasn't even there. Thomas is able to continue, but Brandon Yates, I think he may be done.
And for Austin Thomas's argument, he had no racetrack left to go to. So it wasn't a matter of can he get, a half an inch or half a foot, whatever, up the racetrack. Sometimes you'll see guys come out on the outside a little tight. and they'll have a cushion off the wall because they steered so hard. Thomas used all of the racetrack to make sure he didn't get into the side of that car, and still ended up happening.
Well, yeah, I mean, and Thomas really couldn't even get on the brake even if he wanted to right there. I mean, that's just how quick it happened right there. And then Thomas, obviously, yes, he's going to have a little bit of damage. Well, his bumper disappeared and then reappeared. It was a magic trick right there on Thomas's front end. Awesome stuff right there. But, I mean, Thomas has got nowhere else to go right here. I mean, it's like you said. I mean, you look right there. He's damn near up against the wall. Yates just comes straight up like he wasn't there. Yates goes around. And then Thomas's bumper disappears and then reappears just like that. So Yates is going to get the the short end of the stick off of that. Thomas, he's already been through a little bit of hell tonight. Now he's going through some more.
Well, he's got a magic bumper on the front of that machine. It should put him back in a little bit better contention. But nonetheless, usually when you have something like that happen, whether it's a graphical error or not, it means you had damage, and you're probably going to have a couple minutes here on pit road as you see the 20 down here getting service. The one of Kevin West took over the lead. Dakota Floyd with major tire spin there. And yeah, I think this is a perfect opportunity here, Jake, to pull up last week's winner and ask him a little bit of, well, what's going on here? Dakota Floyd, Bradley Cooper, Jake Reeves in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hear ya. Uh-oh. Can you guys hear me now?
I got you now. Yep, you blinked out there just briefly. It's starting to worry me, but Dakota, you had some tire spin, major wheel spin there on that restart. Got Kevin West there to the inside, but you took, it looks like just fuel or maybe 2 tires. Can you confirm for us there on pit road?
Rights only. Me and Morgan did the rights only after we had our little contact there early. I wanted to make the spots back up. I think it's getting really loose or really tight in 3 and 4. So I'm hoping this loosens the car up in the long run.
And we're seeing that a lot. Jake even hinted to it that this track kind of produces that. But as we get set to go green, you're on the outside. Can you get a good jump here? Maybe give something back to him? Or is this just a matter of let's see how far we can go on fuel and pit again?
I think we're just going to try to hold on, especially in this restart, and hope we don't spin it too hard.
All right. Well, good luck there, Dakota Floyd, and we look forward to seeing what you can do as we get set to go green.
Thanks, guys.
Well, you heard it there, Jake. It's just a matter of let's hold on to it and see how far we can last because this car is ill handling today.
Yeah, we'll see if he can hold on to that bull and try to ride it for all the 8 seconds that it is worth as we're getting ready for a restart. Kevin West on the inside, got the fresh tires. They're going to spin them. They're going to spin them back around the 5th row, but everybody able to keep it straight and keep it clean, keep it green. But Kevin West has straight up checked out. Now Molnick's trying to see if he can fall in line. Here comes Caleb Nelson. He's going to slide by Dakota Floyd. Dakota Floyd really wishing that he probably took 4 fresh tires right now because they're fixing to eat him alive.
Oh, contact here between the 51 and the 57, and the 51 not happy about it. Rides the 57 all the way to the wall. What's going to happen here?
May have
all
some beef right here.
We got a lot of beef. 3 wide across the tri-oval. 4 wide.
May have some beef right now between the 57 and 51, and now Cook's going to slide up. He's going to see if he can hold back Ziegler. Now both of them going to ride the top side. Wisnowski goes by. Philbrick goes by. But all that happened right there just basically killed both of their runs. But now they're going to roll back on the top side. Philbrick down on the inside. Here comes Wisnowski trying to slide up as well. Now Cook gets loose. He gets up into the wall. Ziegler's able to get by. Here comes Newton. Here comes Allen after Cook gets into the wall off of turn 4.
And Cook's still riding up there as the 13 of Brent Allen and Nelson up into the wall. It has not been a good day for that team. The 07 of Caleb Nelson has gotten away here, but you got Newton, you got Ziegler. Quite a few cars on the side of that Vspeed machine. Team Vspeed not making any friends out here tonight.
They're trying not to, from what it looks like. I mean, Cook trying to hold on for everything he's got. And one thing we mentioned, we talked to Dakota Floyd a minute ago, 2 tires. Obviously, Cook right there, maybe he was on 2 tires as well. Maybe that's why he's sliding back the way that he is. But Floyd's able to hold off pretty good holding on to that 4th spot right in front of Galen Wunsch and Jared Ziegler. So Floyd doing a pretty good job riding up here on this top side, right behind Caleb Nelson and Daniel Molnix. Floyd doing a good job on them 2 tires.
Kevin West pulls away a little bit as all of that cycles out. Some of the old tires or 2-tire drivers fall back through the field. That'll hold up some of the guys with 4 tires, but you're seeing one of them right there in the mirror. Daniel Molnix on the charge last time by. He was identical in lap times, actually a little bit faster by about, let's say 0.03 of a second here. And he is slowly creeping his way as they work the low line through 3 and 4.
We'll see if he can try to catch up to him. Looks like he's getting a little bit of a good run, trying to get that draft off Kevin West. There you see Nelson back there. He's just trying to hold par as well. Floyd starting to slip back on those 2 tires. But it's come down to these 3 guys right here, Bradley. Kevin West, Daniel Molnix, and Caleb Nelson. And you see a 3-wide battle back here. Morgan Cook just says, the hell with it. We're going to send it 3 wide on the top side. Quentin Stewart back there with Wyatt Walker. He tried to make it 3 wide. Stewart was able to shoot away. Wow, that was getting good right there for a second. We're talking about the top 3, the big 3, I guess you could say. And we're going 3 wide back there mid-pack.
51 of Cook actually falling back on the outside, which is kind of the faster line here at this point in the run, but I think the 2-tire stop has hindered him. He's losing a ton of ground, and, you know, for one guy, it worked out. You see the 18, he's holding ground for 4th position, and for another guy, it just hasn't panned out. Morgan Cook back to 14th, and he's side-by-side several times through this field. He's fallen all the way back here. Maybe a little bit of damage on the 51 as well. As you see Quentin Stewart on the outside trying to work into the top 10. You've got Ronnie Joyner in 13th position. So these tires starting to come back to the 0-0.
Yeah, Ronnie Joyner, I mean, I think he may have went down and actually made an extra pit stop, tried to jump back here and get him a little bit of extra grip. So now he's back here in this cluster just trying to get it back to the top 10. Joyner trying to get the draft off Quentin Stewart or Wyatt Walker. Which one does he want to go with? He's going to go with Wyatt Walker. He's going to send it on the bottom. Walker's going to slide up a little bit. Hell, they're going to go 3 wide. Joyner all the way down to the apron. Walker's stuck in the middle, and Quentin Stewart all the way up top. I'm telling you, Brandon, that's why the fans love Kansas, because this place is as wide as all get out. And you can see that 3 wide and even 4 wide at times racing here.
I don't know if I recommend it, though, because this car, like we said, is ill handling here today. You can't always predict what that guy on your inside or outside is going to do, and you end up in the middle. Where do you go here, Jake?
I mean, ain't nowhere you can go, just ride and hope. I mean, that's all you can do. Just hope.
Essentially, yeah.
I mean, that's all you can do is just trust the guy on the bottom and trust the guy on the top side to not bounce it off the wall and come down into you and clean you out. You got to trust the guy down on the bottom not to get tight like we've seen numerous times so far in this race. Just to get tight and just slide right up into your door and straight up knock you into the other guy or knock you into the wall. I mean, that's just the trust factor that you got to have. But I'll say this, Caleb Nelson starting to reel in Daniel Molnix, top 2 in points. They flip-flop just a little bit, but Molnix second in the points, running second. Caleb Nelson leading the points. He's running in the 3rd spot. Dakota Floyd starting to kick very slowly, creep back into this battle.
What I'm starting to see here is kind of reminiscent of the original Kansas we ran on week number 2, where if you take away a guy's line, that dirty air will prevent him. He'll kind of get into that bubble, and then he'll go stationary. As you saw Caleb Nelson, it caught up to Molnix. Now he's falling back. Molnix is taking away that exit line. So he's running the bottom, but he comes up high, and that dirty air is interfering with Caleb Nelson's exit. He's on the throttle sooner because there's not a car in front of him, but as soon as he gets to the exit, he has to lift out.
Yeah, I mean, Bradley, I'll just be honest with you. I mean, that sucks for Nelson. I mean, that sucks for anybody that's got to be in that particular position. And Caleb Nelson's in. That's why you see him jumping up on the top side, trying to get a little bit of clean air, come off of the corner, and try to get a run, try to get back to Daniel Molnix. And like I said, even though these guys are not battling for the win, these 2 guys right here, the points is that tight, folks. I mean, Nelson just trying to make sure that he can get every little spot. to be able to have a shot to try to make sure that he gets this championship. Be calm, be cool, and be collected. These guys back here in the back, they ain't being calm, cool, and collected. Chuck Sweeten back here still trying to work over White Walker and Quentin Stewart. All of them racing. Morgan Cook back there on those 2 tires just holding on for dear life, just trying to see if he can get something. Quentin Stewart goes up into the wall, so now Cook's going to get him another spot, but Stewart is going to get bypassed by all of them.
Stewart not happy there. A little bit of a head shake for him in the 24 machine. He knew he made the mistake. We'll go back on the instant replay here momentarily, but it's just, how frustrating is it here, Jake, when you know that you're faster than some of these guys, but you get that dirty air, or maybe you just miscalculate for 1 second of getting back to the throttle and you lose all the spots you gained.
I mean, it's frustrating. It's definitely frustrating, especially when you know that you are faster than those drivers like Morgan Cook. He knows he's faster than both of these guys that he's racing, White Walker and Chuck Sweeten. He just straight up sent it on the bottom and just tried to make it stick. Now he's back up on the top side where he wants to be. He's going to get the run on White Walker. But, I mean, back to your question, Bradley, it is frustrating as hell to be riding behind somebody knowing that you are faster than them and you got that shot to be able to get up there. It's just when it gets line sensitive like that, where everybody's running on the top side and got it going, like White Walker trying to run it, he gets in the dirty air on Cook. Now he's going to lose a spot to Sweeten. I mean, everybody's dealing with the same thing.
Yep, and that's a product here as we start to split 3 or 4 different race packs. And hey, impressive run here. Ethan Wisnowski up into the 8th position. He has a pretty sizable gap back here. There's Brent Allen, Marshall Newton on the inside. They're running side by side. And then in front of him, he was chasing down Ryan Philbrick there for a moment as we ride on board with the number 5.
And Ethan Wisnowski, I mean, very, very talented driver, folks. Think back here on Vspeed, back on the Thursday night series when the Gen 4 cars went to Talladega.
Yeah.
And all of them started wrecking going through the tri-oval. Wisnowski was like 13th, literally going through the tri-oval. All of them wrecked in front of him. He drove right through it, and he got him a win here in QSR. So, I mean, Wisnowski is a great driver. I think he's like me sometimes. I think he just gets some bad luck and gets himself in those bad spots to where he gets that bad luck. But, I mean, great drive by Wisnowski. Started 10th. He's up in the 8th spot. I think he's just trying to hold on, get him a top 10 here tonight in salvage.
We're going to have to go back here a little bit. I think Mike Petrin might have got into the side of the 24. No, he did not, but I think the 24 came off the wall. Yes, I saw on the camera there for a brief second on the left side. Well, I've got live telemetry with all these guys in real time. And sometimes they do a little body language here, Jake, that gives something away. And it's kind of a hint that something went wrong.
Yeah, and it seems like every one of those instances is coming off a turn. Forward battle for second. Caleb Nelson down to the inside. Molnix is up top. Nelson's going to get clear. So clear. Very, very tight clear. But now Molnix dives it back down to the inside. Both of them racing their hearts out, knowing that the leader is not too far in front of them. Slide job, and Molnix is going to take it back.
Going to come down and cut the nose as well. I think Nelson maybe cut Molnix a little break there. Just a little break. It's still early, just past the halfway mark in this race. But, yeah, a little break there for the 51. And I tell you, Daniel's not catching any ground on the one of West right now. He's going to have to figure out a way to shake this 07 if he wants to make up any time, because we talk about dirty air on the front of the car when you're behind somebody, but there's a little interference with someone side drafting or right up on that rear spoiler as well.
Yeah, I mean, and especially right there on that rear spoiler, it can make you loose. It can make the back end want to step out, make it want to slip, slide. And, I mean, it doesn't really help, with a hot track temp like 135 degrees. Folks, that's what these guys is racing on. There you see it right there, air temperature 88. As long as you ain't got the front end, basically closed off, you should be okay. But that air temp breathing down on that track, and these guys going around this place, especially in the high or around 170, 180 miles an hour, especially on the straightaways, that's just heating that track up even more and more and more. So with the air, how it's working, and the hot track temp. I mean, these guys, they're literally just driving these cars. They're literally getting all that they can get out of these cars right now.
Talk about that, and then you see Dakota Floyd come out of turn 2 on those 2 tires, completely sideways. Almost looked like a Gen 4 car coming off that corner.
That's the kind of racing we love right there, is to see the back end kind of step out that extra horsepower them Gen 4s have right there. And Floyd doing a very, very good job on those 2 tires, showing them how to do it. Obviously, he's got a handful. I guarantee you he has a handful, especially with Jared Ziegler in a 57 breathing down his back bumper. Watch his wheel right here coming off of 2. See that back end already starting to step out a little bit. He's got to crank it back to the right. Watch what he's got to do coming off of turn 4. That's going to be the big trick, because we've seen a lot of guys getting tight coming off of turn 4. Watch him. He's getting, wheel kind of steps a little bit. Steps. See the step right there at the end. And Bradley,
Ziegler in the wall.
Yeah, Ziegler getting into the wall, so that's going to help Floyd. But, as many guys as we've seen get tight coming off of 4, if it breaks loose like that, you want to try to straighten it up. You just hope that the tires don't grip, because if they do, you're going to fence it straight up into the wall.
This really is one of those driver track contests between Kevin West, Daniel Molnex here, Caleb Nelson. Unfortunately, though, right now, as it sits, we don't really have a change in the top 4 in points. If you're looking to shake things up, you're going to have to really get some ground. We're talking at least 6-7 positions, and the guy that's kind of lost the most here, but is standing to still gain a position, is Ronnie Joyner. He's in the 8th spot. He's back up to where he started this race, but he's been relatively quiet through the midway point and since the beginning.
Yeah, that's kind of weird to see out of Ronnie Joyner. If my memory serves me correctly, and granted, folks, I'm a redneck announcer, so my memory sucks sometimes, but I believe Ronnie Joyner finished 2nd here at Kansas when we raced in that 2nd race right after Daytona. So, Joyner knows how to get around Kansas, but here's the difference. It was night then. It's daytime now. And obviously the track temp a whole lot harder than what it was that night when we raced earlier on in the season. But, still doing a pretty good job keeping it up there in the top 10. Like you said, back to where he started. He's just trying to salvage. Joyner's just trying to get all that he can get, just try to get some spots. He's got Philbrick up here starting to come back to him. Ziegler, we saw him get in the wall. He's starting to come back to him a little bit. So Joyner may be able to get a couple spots, maybe get a top 5 when this thing's all said and done.
0-0 of Joyner in 8th spot. Wisnowski falls back to 9th. And this is about the window that, even though we had those cautions to start this race, and we cycled up kind of a different pit strategy, you could still see some guys come down pit road here. They're kind of still on that stint where they want to run 40 laps or so. I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody from 5th on back, as actually we just saw Dakota Floyd coming down pit road. It kind of sometimes speak it into existence, Jake.
Well, I figured he would have probably been the first one to go down, because it's like we said, he was on 2 tires. I've got a damn good feeling he's not going to take 2 tires this time. Obviously, He will take 4 tires this time around. But, the strategy paid off for him in a big way. He was able to keep the track position, stay up there where he needed to be. I'll say this, Monix is starting to reel in Kevin West just ever so slightly right now. He's got it. He had him at about a 10th. Give or take, he got him about a 10th right there, and that's what Monix needs to do right here, is reel him in. But, right now what Caleb Nelson needs to do is just run consistent laps, because even if Monix does jump Kevin West, I think Caleb Nelson's still going to have this bad boy in the bag unless he screws it up.
So let's put him back up on the screen here and see how calm and collected, non-distracted the number 2 can be as he shaves off, it looks like another 10th here at least. That time by 2 tenths. So going to turn 1, he is slowly creeping his way back towards the lead. But this is just a patience game right now. You're kind of approaching that window of pit stops. You reel in West. Do you try to pass him, or do you just keep him within a couple tenths and beat him on pit road?
Oh man, that's the tough one right there. That's why I'm up here in the broadcast booth, and that's why I'm not down there racing on the track. I promise you that,
it's
Bradley.
very
That's
loose.
gonna be tough. West getting loose. Monique's gonna be able to slide by. Here comes Nelson. Nelson may get a run, but he has to get out of the gas. Monique's basically got a gift right there for the lead. Now that changes everything as far as his strategy goes, as West is going to slide back into the third spot as Nelson trying to get a run down on the inside.
Well, it would appear that if you're Daniel Molnix, you're probably going to stay out as long as you can at this point because Kevin West made a huge mistake. He's going to come down pit road, and Nelson is a solid second behind here. Over half a second. I think right now, based off of the math I'm seeing, everybody in this top 5 should probably come down pit road if they want a chance to catch Daniel Molnix.
Yeah, that's what you would think. I mean, but everybody's got their own little strategy that they got going on. We'll see if any of them decide to go down this time by Molnix. Looks like he is going to keep it on the racetrack. He's not pitting. Nelson, he's not pitting. Watch. Looks like he's going to stay out as well as Ziegler and Joyner, all of them. Joyner actually got up into the fence a little bit. But the top 5 staying out on the racetrack. Chuck Sweeten back in 6th. He's going to stay out. But Kevin West just now coming off of pit road. He's going to have 4 fresh tires. He's going to be able to keep it literally to the floor and try to see if he can try to gain back some of that ground that he just lost.
Yeah, and it only takes one little mistake there. As you saw him get loose out of turn 4, he lost 2 positions within the next corner. Here we go with Molnix still out on the racetrack. Looks like a couple cars coming down pit road. Molnix actually does come down with Galen Wunsch just behind him. Change for the lead, Caleb Nelson.
Nelson, he's going to be on the attack right here. I got a feeling Nelson will probably go down maybe this time by. Hell, he may end up going down maybe in the next couple of laps. I would think Nelson would probably go ahead and jump it down pit road to try to stay on that cycle, and that's exactly what he is going to do. Joyner, on the other hand, is going to stay out, which is normal. Ziegler, well, Nelson might have got busted right there, Bradley. He might have got busted for speeding. That was close.
You can see the black marks there right at the line where he locks it up. Let's go back on the instant replay. This is going to be a really close one here.
Actually, Bradley, I was sitting back and I was looking basically at how everything went when he went into the pits. I do not see Caleb Nelson having a black flag. He was about 5 miles an hour under, so I believe Caleb Nelson. That's championship stuff right there.
That's what you have to do. On and off pit road. Conserve nothing. Coming out here, let's see where he cycles through. So the 2 of Molnix, he is about a second and a half behind here. He'll go by right there as they come out of turn 2. But even then, Nelson's going to be right there behind him. Marshall Newton, Galen Wunsch, trade positions for 12th. We still have a few cars that are coming down pit road. Here's Austin Thomas. Chuck Sweeting still out on the racetrack. He's your leader. Dakota Floyd, who pitted first. He'll probably resume the lead here. Morgan Cook just behind him, but it's looking like the 2-tire strategy, it hasn't quite panned out.
Well, we'll see how this works out for Dakota Floyd, see what happens with him right here. I mean, he's got a pretty good little deal going on right here. Obviously, Ronnie Joyner has already went in. He's still on pit road. I think he might have got busted for speeding as well. But Chuck Sweeten, he still has not made that pit stop yet. So technically, the 75 that you see on your screen, he is still the leader. He has not pitted yet. So when that happens, Dakota Floyd will end up resuming the lead. Morgan Cook will end up taking second. And Kevin West right back there, obviously, he's got a pretty good jump right now on Molnix. But Molnix has got to have a little bit fresher tires and see if he can try to run down Kevin West.
So the top 3 right now as it sits with Sweeting yet to pit. 30 laps on this stint. Brandon Yates, 38 laps up to the top 5. Remember, Brandon Yates had those issues there earlier in the race. He's actually going to have Ethan Wisnowski, Daniel Molnex, quite a few cars to the inside here. Wisnowski up to the top 5.
Wisnowski, I talked about him a minute ago. Wisnowski knows what he is doing. He's trying to keep it up there, keep it going. Looking pretty good right now. He's got a couple guys sliding by. There goes Molnex. Here comes Caleb Nelson down to his inside. Wisnowski's going to slip back just a little bit. Basically let the front 2 guys who could be battling for the lead when this thing's all said and done right here, Bradley. Molnex and Nelson sliding right by Wisnowski, but Wisnowski holds strong right now in that 7th spot. He's got Wunsch back here trying to battle with Ziegler. They're right behind him as well. So we'll see if Wisnowski can hold on and get him a top 10 here tonight.
And as far as distance goes, we're talking about 2.5 seconds to Morgan Cook in the 4th spot. Kevin West, who had the lead, cycles back out to the front on and off pit road for the number 1 machine. Tremendous recovery after that mistake out of turn 4. He lost probably a good solid second at the very least, and he comes out, 2-3 seconds ahead of these guys. That's a pretty good job there to get back ahead of them.
Yeah, I got a feeling he probably ended up buying the whole virtual pit crew a whole round of cheeseburgers from McDonald's. That's what I would do, especially if you're the trailer park dude, to be able to try to get you a win here tonight at Kansas. Close out the season the right way. There you see Kevin West rolling it down on the bottom side. Chuck Sweeten has still not made that pit stop yet. Dakota Floyd, he's up there in 2nd. Let's not shy away from the fact that Dakota Floyd has made his pit stop. So Dakota Floyd will get the lead eventually. Kevin West is going to see if he can try to run him down. But I'll say this, West, hell, he's running half a second, literally half a second faster than Dakota Floyd is. It's just a matter of time when Kevin West will run him down.
And for the 4th position, Molnex to the inside. Nelson, Ziegler, quite a few cars here running 1, 2, 3. If you're Daniel Molnex right now, you need these 2 cars beside Morgan Cook to lose about 5 or 6 positions.
Well, that's all he can do right now is wish, really, Bradley. Because Nelson, you're literally wishing 2 guys to lose a couple of positions. The problem is, that's some of the big 4 right there. Nelson and Ziegler, 2 of the drivers of the big 4. I've said it before. The other 2 is Kevin West and Daniel Molnex. That is the top 4 guys here in the QSR Xfinity Series. So you wishing to have 2 of the big 4 to try to slip, that's not going to work. And this ain't going to work neither. Caleb Nelson going to ease down to the inside. Molnex up top. He's going to get the run on the top side. They'll be side by side coming off of turn 4.
Nelson to the bottom. Remember, he pitted a lap later than the 2 of Molnex. Really pushed it on pit road. And this is the point where the tires are good enough that the bottom can work.
It absolutely can. We've already seen drivers run the bottom, run the top. Hell, they've been literally all over the place. Ziegler's going to actually jump by Nelson. That's what Molnex needs right there. He needs guys to pass Caleb Nelson. That is his goal right now. He wants drivers to pass by Caleb Nelson. Now, the problem is he don't want Ziegler to pass him because why? He's going to be right back in the same boat that he was already in. So now he's got to play a little defense right here. He's going to have to try to hold off Ziegler as much as he possibly can and maybe get Nelson to slip back a little bit into the clutches of Galen Wunsch. Maybe get Morgan Cook back up here to get into this battle as well. So Molnex playing a little bit of defense right here with Ziegler and hoping like hell that Wunsch maybe can get up here and get around Nelson and maybe make that gap for that point lead just a little bit tighter.
Galen Wunsch is started in 7th. He's in 7th position. Right on the tail end of this battle, as you see Ziegler very close to the wall. The 07 trying to find clean air, dives it to the middle of the racetrack as they come out of turn 2. The 199, he's been quiet all day, but a teammate there to Venom Motorsports, and he's been very courteous through the, we call it the playoffs, and we kind of got a chase format here in both series. 199 Well deserving, though. I think he probably is one of those drivers outside looking in, should have been in this top 13.
Yeah, I mean, I think he should have been, and I think it has a lot to do with starts or maybe just bad luck out of the 199 and Galen Wunsch. I mean, that happens, for some of those guys, and, starts can happen as well. I mean, this is sim racing, Bradley. This is not real racing. These guys don't necessarily have a contract to get in here and race, so, real life gets in the way sometimes, and that's why some guys cannot make the starts, and that's why they can't get enough points to make it into that playoff format. So, yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Galen Wunsch probably should have been in that playoff picture. He would have really made it I guarantee he would have made it interesting, but, I mean, this wasn't meant to be.
Ethan Wisnowski is going to gain a position. Ryan Philbrick just in front of him. They get around the 51 of Morgan Cook. 8th and 9th position as Cook falls back to 10th. Marshall Newton be the next car in line. And based off the tires here, with this all cycling through, 27 laps compared to 19. I think it's only amount of time as the 51 goes off the racetrack.
Morgan Cook trying to get it straight. He's going to literally mud it right through the grass. You see the tire marks going through the grass. Cook slides back up on the apron. One thing I do want to mention, Kevin West in the 1 has gotten around Dakota Floyd. So Kevin West occupies that 2nd spot. So whenever Chuck Sweeten decides to jump it down pit road, that will end up surrendering the lead, and it will give it right back to Kevin West. But I don't know what to make of this right here. I mean, I think Chuck may just be waiting on a caution, because if a caution comes out right here, Bradley, he's going to be sitting pretty right now, because everybody's going to be going down getting 4 fresh tires.
Very tight there out of turn 4. The 24 of Quentin Stewart going to get one of those laps back there. Down to the inside. Yeah, he's definitely waiting on a caution here. He's got a massive lead of over 5 seconds, but he's losing probably a second a lap, a second and a half at the minimum. There's no way he can stay out on the racetrack much longer. It's just about 2 or 3 laps that he's going to have to hit pit road. We've talked to several of these guys. We just got done talking to Chuck Sweeting about the Vspeed Invitational. So if you don't know what that is, Jake, we're going to have a race Friday and Saturday for 4 races. Going to be 2 races on Friday. Take the top 15 from each Group A and Group B for each split. We're going to put that together in a final 2-race scenario, and it's the first time we've ever done anything like that. So Chuck Sweeting, one of those guys that will probably be a part of it here, and Kevin West. Hopefully some of these other guys hear this tonight in the broadcast and sign up for it. 95 in the wall, but yeah, hopefully these guys hear this, and oh man, he is ripping the right side off that Paul Yala 1 lap down here in 16th. Just can't get off the wall here.
Well, I think he's doing that really on purpose, honestly, Bradley. I think he's trying to give each and every one of these guys back here. You see Monix, you see Caleb Nelson. He's just trying to give everybody all the room that they can get. He doesn't want to be in anybody's way. He almost got in Ziegler's way. Ziegler and Wunsch going to battle it out for that 6th spot as Wunsch dives it down to the inside. Ziegler up top. Paul Yala was just trying to get the hell out of the way and just trying to let them get up here and race it out. But that got a little bit interesting right there. That could have been bad for Ziegler right there.
Well, Galen Wunsch has chased him down, so he is the car to beat right now. I mean, if you chase a guy down like that, he's going to be side by side perfectly here out of 2. But I'm really impressed that Galen Wunsch, a little bit older tires, he was able to chase down the 57. He's working him here through 3 and 4.
Yeah, he's trying to, but I think that little bit of chasing down might have ended up burning his tires up. Maybe not. He's actually going to get a run right here on Ziegler. We'll see if he can try to dive it up to the top side. Ziegler trying to pitch him up into the wall. Shades of Joey Logano, Matt Kenseth a little bit right there between both of these guys. Hard racing, but clean racing out of both of these drivers. Nobody doing anything crazy. Wunsch gets the preferred line on the outside. Wunsch is going to go to 6th.
Impressive job there by the 199. Now has to check up a little bit there to pull it down the racetrack. 57 losing a little ground as he'll fall back to 7th spot. And, you know, we talked about it all season with Caleb Nelson, Jared Ziegler. These guys kind of going toe-to-toe with Daniel Molnex, Galen Wunsch, Ronnie Joyner. It's been back and forth a lot through this in the top 4. And then you have the wild card. Who's leading this race right now? The guy that just, well, he says it does whatever he thinks is fitting for the moment.
Absolutely. He was able to get the lead after Chuck Sweeten, excuse me, decides to go ahead finally and dump the 75 down into the pit. So that will surrender the lead to Kevin West and Molnix. A little bit faster than West right now, but he's going to have to pick it up big time right now as we're coming around, getting pretty close to 10 laps to go right here. Molnix 2.2 back. He's going to have to dig down deep if he wants to try to get up here and get this win. You see it, it's got it up to 2. Now it's down to 1.9, 1.8, starting to reel in Kevin West. Something going on up there with Kevin West that I don't know about. Either that or Molnix just finally got some clean air. And that may have been what he needed, but he is starting to reel in Kevin West a little bit more.
Off of turn 4, though, a little bit of spot, a little bit of position lost there. It was down to 1.7, then it went back up to 1.9. West kind of flirting with that deficit. He's probably watching the relative and knowing when to push and when to give back. And it is tight back here. Caleb Nelson has fallen back, though. He is in 3rd spot. I mean, you could go back and look at this race as a whole. It started out rocky, but it went back to true form for QSR and the Xfinity Series, QSR in general. And if you haven't watched any of the races, they're all here on the YouTube channel. I'll have to do some sorting to get that playlist corrected, but you can go back and watch any one of these races all season long here on Vspeed as we have 10 laps to go when they cross the stripe.
Basically, that's pretty much it right there, unless something crazy happens, which, Bradley, you know as well as I do, and I've said it numerous times, unless something crazy happens, Kevin West has got this bad boy in the bag. But, I mean, it's like I said, iRacing, you never know really what could happen. I mean, we may end up having a spinner, and it ends up bringing out a caution, and then that could change everything. So you never know. You never know. Hey, I love drama. I love drama when I'm not in the middle of it. I love drama when I'm not in the middle of it. But that is a possibility. And Kevin West is right now just trying to click them off right now, just run consistent for the next 10 laps and trying to win the season finale here tonight at Kansas.
Riding with Jared Ziegler, he's back up to 6. Ryan Philbrick is 5.1 seconds back. Ethan Wisnowski, what a stellar day for him in the 5 machine. Riding in 8th right now, just ahead of Brent Allen. This battle's starting to shape up as you see 29 lap tires behind him versus his 31 on the 5 machine.
We'll see if he can try to reel him in. Allen just trying to be consistent. Actually, he's actually under par, I guess you could say. I like to talk golf terms a little bit here and there. Allen, he started 23rd in the field out of the 24 drivers that started here tonight. He started 23rd. He's all the way up to 9th. So Clemson colors showing true, showing good here tonight. I can't believe I just said that because I'm SEC. But anyway, but I mean, still, I mean, Allen doing a fantastic job getting him a top 10 from where he started with all the chaos that started at the start of this race. To be able to claw his way from outside the top 20 where he started and get up here in the top 10, that's a drive in itself.
And a driver we haven't really mentioned here tonight, he started in 25th, the very back of this field here today. He's worked his way up to 13th. So past half of this field essentially. Frank Walsh in the 54. He's going to come home with a top 15, looking like he might get up there with Austin Thomas in battle here, as Austin actually has a little blink moment there into the wall. And we're about to get the 5 to go. 20 hits the wall. It looks like Walsh might get a chance here.
Yeah, Uncle Frank doing pretty good here tonight, trying to see if he can get him a 12th spot right here with Austin Thomas. Obviously, Frank Walsh, I've known him for quite some time. Frank is just one of them guys where he just loves to get in the sim, loves to get out there, loves to race, and just be around his buddies and just have a good time. And this this would be big right here for Frank Walsh to try to see if he can get a hold of Austin Thomas. Thomas ain't going to give it up, not by a long shot. But Frank Walsh, obviously, you can see it. He is a little bit faster than Thomas, trying to stay out of that dirty air. He may get there.
He's trying to find a hole there. He could have stayed on the throttle there on the exit of turn 4. I think he would have had him, but he's kind of cutting him a break here as we hit 5 to go. I think he's setting him up for a surprise pass. We'll have to wait and see, but Chuck Sweeting back out on the racetrack. Remember, he stayed out kind of longer than anybody else, and he is now in the 14th position. He'll be outside the top 10, and I don't think he has enough time to catch up to Walsh. It's 2.5, almost 3 seconds. It's a pretty sizable gap here to the 13th spot. But let's go back and talk about how this race all unfolded as we hit 4 to go. Jake, did you predict right now that we'd be on this cycle, that this race would unfold the way it did? We have the one of West who, was quiet pretty much all the way through the first half of the race, took over the lead just before pit stops and made a mistake, and he's back up here.
No, I didn't. I didn't predict this, not one bit. Honestly, I mean, I had a feeling it was going to come down between Monix and Nelson, to be honest with you. I didn't even have Kevin West on my radar, and I'm probably going to catch some crap for that, but I mean,
you'll be on a TikTok for sure.
Oh, I'm sure I'll be on a TikTok. I got one too. But anyway, I mean, in all seriousness, I didn't have him on the radar. I guess you could say battling for the win. I had him in the top 5, but I didn't necessarily have him for the win. But I've been surprised before, and I've been showing up before as well. So he's doing a pretty good job. And like I said, he may not be able to win the championship here tonight, but still, he may have a shot to try to close it out and get him a win.
And the gains here kind of went stagnant for Daniel Monix. He's shaved it down to 1.4 seconds as they come out of turn 4. Seems like through 1 and 2, Monix a little bit quicker, but gives a lot of it back there on the exit of the final corner. Now, looks like car on the wall. That was the 51, just behind Quentin Stewart, as Morgan Cook will let the one of Kevin West go by. Daniel Monix gained a little bit there. Caleb Nelson has fallen back to 0.8 of a second. Galen Wunsch, a solid top 5 day. He's going to get 4th as we come across for the white flag.
And Kevin West just needs to see that white flag, and that's exactly what he's going to get. 1 lap to go here at Kansas. Kevin West looks like he's going to get the win here tonight. As long as Caleb Nelson doesn't screw it up right here, by my redneck math, Caleb Nelson will win the championship. From what I added up right there, Bradley, but a hell of a drive right here by Kevin West.
Coming out of turn 4 for the final time. It'll be another win this season for the One Machine. Bested in the points. He's going to make the best of the day. The one of Kevin West is your winner here today at Kansas in the final race of the QSR Xfinity Series. 1 car to P1. But it comes down to one other driver here that we need to talk about. He's going to come home in 3rd tonight, but it's Caleb Nelson that gets the victory. He's going to bring home the championship in the inaugural season here at QSR for the Xfinity. And I tell you what, a late start to the season. That guy raced himself 7, 8, 9 races consecutively in the top 5 to get himself into position to be victorious.
Yeah, I mean, those are those feel-good stories that you love to see right there, especially with guys that didn't necessarily have the starts, that basically had to win, get in, point their way in, however you got to do it, and then just come out of nowhere after everything re-racks and restacks, and then just come out of nowhere and straight up get out there and get the job done. As you see Kevin West, let's not shy away from the fact on him. I mean, obviously a lot of love needing to be given to Caleb Nelson for the win. Hell, I think everybody's just happy that they've had a successful season, Bradley, because, I mean, everybody's really, really happy. Everybody's doing burnouts at this point.
Yeah, we got, looks like the 13 down there on the inside, the 24 as well. So Quentin Stewart, Brent Allen just, locking wheels, having a good time. But here's Caleb Nelson. to get the championship. Congratulations to him and everything that he put together. What a season here, Jake. I mean, we covered it all. We were here for every single week. We're talking about 19 races, might have been 20, I think, with the charity race, and we did have that coverage here on Vspeed. But between the DDoS and the championship implications, the shuffle in the points, you first time here on Vspeed, you had me and Morgan back and forth all season long up in the booth with you. And then, you come down here and see some of the best racing that you've seen all season with 2.3 cautions before the chase there, before the reset. And tonight, a little extra, but I mean, these guys they always put on a good show.
They always do. I mean, and that's why I've been happy to be a part of this right here. I mean, I know I'm real good friends with Ronnie Joyner and all the Venom Motorsports guys. I myself am part of the Venom Motorsports group, and they wanted me to come over and wanted me to help out with Vspeed. And Bradley, I appreciate you being allowing me to come over here and cause some good racing, because, man, I'm telling you, I mean, QSR has got it hooked up. They got a great group right here. Now it's going to be about what can they do to build on it? What can they do to make it bigger? Unless they want to just keep it the way it is. And the way I always look at it sometimes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So real group, or a great group of guys right here that race in this QSR Xfinity series. And Ronnie Joyner and Quentin Stewart, they've done a fantastic job putting this group together.
And, I mean, you're seeing it on the left side of your screen. I believe Mike Petrin got a top 10 here tonight, so we're going to have to talk to him as well. I think we need to get Mike Petrin up here in the booth. So, Mike, if you're out there watching right now, I think you need to come up here into the booth. But we're going to have post-race interviews with your top three and your champion of the season. You're watching the QSR Xfinity Series live on Vspeed. We'll have all of that and your final results right after this.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Well, QSR Xfinity Series has concluded their 100 laps here today from Kansas Speedway. And it was another great show with our caution-fled race at the start, Jake. It turned out to be a really good one. They went caution-free from about lap 18 all the way to the end. But there's your final results up on the screen. Kevin West is victorious here today, but it's going to be Caleb Nelson that gets the championship. Daniel Monix gets second spot. Galen Wunsch in fourth spot. Then the top 5, Jared Ziegler. So you're seeing all the names that were up there top 4 in points, right on top of each other. And it really came down to who had the better day, who outdrove the guy, who survived the carnage, who outsmarted who. Great race here today. Dakota Floyd, after last week's win, pulled some strategy, salvaged the day with a top 6. He's going to get a top 10 here today. Ryan Philbrick, 06 in 7th spot. Ethan Wisnowski, great finish for him in the 5 car. He's going to finish in 8th spot. Brent Allen, 9th position. And we're going to have this guy up here in the booth here momentarily. It's Mike Petrin in a top 10 situation.
And then Chuck Sweet. Go ahead.
Sorry, good. Sorry about that. I just,
you good.
Hey, you know, I gotta say, I missed you here, Jake. I missed you here, so take it away.
I know, I got you. Chuck Sweeten obviously had that late race strategy that he was trying to pull off. He's still going to give him a top 15 here tonight after starting 21st. He's going to finish in the 11th spot. Marshall Newton will finish 12th. Austin Thomas is going to get the better of old Uncle Frank. Austin Thomas is going to get 13th. Frank Walsh, 14th. That is the last drivers to finish on the lead lap. The rest of them 1 lap down or more. The big heartbreaker out of this is Morgan Cook with Team Vspeed, because he started 3rd and he ended up getting on a little bit different strategy. And unfortunately, he comes home tonight in the 15th spot. Quentin Stewart gets 16th. With Brandon Yates finishing in 17th. Paul Ayala will get 18th. Wyatt Walker will get 19th. And Ronnie Joyner rounds out the top 20.
It was a little early to the button here, but here's the remaining 5 cars. You've got Austin Dowdy, 18th place start here tonight. He's going to finish 21st, 50 laps down, early exit. Derek McMurtry got caught up in that very early crash there on lap number 2. He will finish 22nd. CJ Gates also involved in some carnage of his own. The wheel disconnected for the 23 machine, 23 and 23rd. Randy Solé also involved in that lap 2 caution. He'll finish 24th. And Dirk Likes looks like maybe didn't grid here tonight in the number 3. But there's your final results, and we had 4 cautions and 7 lead changes, a little bit above the average there on the cautions, but all the lead changing and all the cycles through, I tell you what, it shaped up to be a great race. We were a little bit worried about it there at the start because QSR has been spoiling us all season long. But that brings us to one driver here that I want to bring up right into the booth. And Jake, I'll let you get the vast majority of this. But we had a lot of firsts here today. We had a lot of things happen. First time for a lot of different things. Mike Petrin, it's your first time up in the booth. You got a copy?
It's not my first time. I've been up here before.
You've been up here before?
Yeah, one time.
One time. And
Yeah,
okay, so call me out.
I finished 3rd at Talladega, I think it was.
Okay, well then I'm completely wrong on this. But I will say that tonight, for you though, I mean, you can take Talladega, you can cycle through all the races that you want, but tonight you put up a solid night, and appreciation to you and sticking out this whole season. You raced every single race. You were here every single week. You were a part of the QSR and the Xfinity series. Just congratulations, man, on a solid end to the season.
Thank you. I try to race every chance I get. And tonight, I'm just driving my ass off, so to speak, trying to keep up.
Trying to keep up. Jake, I mean, you've seen him out here. You've probably got some questions for him.
Well, I mean, I've raced against Mike plenty of times in official races and hosted races and over with the Venom Motorsports group. But I mean, Mike, tell everybody about just what makes Kansas so crazy, because we've already saw the track temp. I mean, hell, the track temp was like 134 degrees. Y'all were slipping, y'all were sliding. What was the big key to trying to get that top 10 here tonight?
I just stayed on the bottom. Normally you stay on top, but I stayed on the bottom this time. Burned my front right tire up a good bit, but it's some good racing. And had some good racing with Quentin at one time. We couldn't decide who was going to get the spot, but pretty good racing.
Pretty good racing. Well, Mike, I'll tell you this, buddy. I mean, appreciate your friendship. Appreciate everything that you've done. Appreciate all the starts that you've had this season. Mike, I never thought I'd ask you this, but before I let you go, you got any sponsors or any shout outs that you want to thank?
Yeah, I thank Vspeed for putting on the shows, and QSR for the racing. Um, all of Venom Motorsport, everybody, just good league to be in.
Well, with that, I agree with everything you just said. Great league to watch, great league to broadcast. And Mike, we thank you for your time and look forward to having you in here next season. Hopefully, you can get in here and race with us some more. And we appreciate your time.
All right, not a problem.
Mike Petrin, top 10 here today, and an excellent finish and a solid race for the 60 machine. And overall, I mean, there's a lot of guys out here that needed to have a good day, but Mike Petrin, he bested them. He put up a good, solid qualifying effort as well, and was able to bring it home. Now that'll bring us to our top three, and we didn't discuss it too much here tonight, but I think the redneck announcer, I think he's gonna have to talk to our third place finisher here and our champion of the QSR Xfinity Series.
We got the champ in the house as far as the redneck math goes, Bradley. We got Caleb Nelson up here in the booth. And Caleb, I mean, hell of a race, hell of a season. I mean, what's it mean to be the inaugural QSR Xfinity Series champion?
Yeah, I love it. It means a lot. You put the practice, the time in, everybody does, and to be able to come out and string 4 races together without any issues, I think was the biggest thing, and it worked in our favor. I'm very, very happy, very thankful to QSR and you guys for putting all of this on. It's awesome. I'm ecstatic.
Yeah, I can tell in your voice. I mean, going into the night, obviously you had that little bit of I guess you could say, of a gap. We were talking about, the top 4 separated by 26 points, and then 5th and 6th, they were there as well. They still had a shot to try to close in on it. Did the pressure get to you at any point, or was it just hell with it, business as usual?
I definitely drove a more cautious race tonight than I typically do. I probably would have short pit there on that last stop a little bit, in other situations to try to get a jump, get closer to the lead, maybe get some track position. But my goal tonight was keep Kevin and Daniel right in my sights. We lucked out, got a pole, got a lap lead right off the bat, so that helped out. And I just wanted to be as safe as I could tonight, put myself around people, you don't have to worry about. Everything's gonna turn out fine, and just kind of get into a groove and just settle in there.
Caleb Nelson, listen to this right here and let this sink in. Just let it sink in. QSR Xfinity Series inaugural champion, baby. You are the champion. Like I said, as far as the redneck math goes, and as well as your car going through tech, as long as it passes, you should be good to go. But Caleb, before we let you go, if you got anybody that you want to thank, any sponsors, shout outs for making it possible, being the champion, and for a hell of a season.
Again, QSR, you guys over at Vspeed for putting this all on. Amazing stuff. My teammates, got to thank Jared Ziegler and Marshall Newton. They, put the time in with me. We made this work, and our schedules don't always align, but we were able to get together, talk it out, and eventually we just devised a plan to come out here, run good races when we could, and capitalize on everything. I got to thank my wife, obviously, let me do this. It takes time. Obviously, it takes all of us time to do this, so it just feels great to finally put everything together. We got the championship, and it feels really great. Thank you, guys.
We got the beer on tap. We got a party going on in Kansas. Caleb Nelson, your Xfinity Series champion. Caleb, appreciate your time, and hell of a season, brother.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Your season 1 inaugural season champion, Caleb Nelson, stringing together all those top 5s and those race victories. to put it up here on top. But that brings us to the next guy in the line. It's Daniel Molnix. And Daniel, I know that here tonight you wanted to put as much space between you and Caleb Nelson, Jared Ziegler, Kevin West that you could, but it was the top 4 in points, top 4 in the race for 90% of this thing. Even from the very start, you qualified up there where you needed to be, but it just it never came to fruition. What do you have to say though for the first season here at QSR?
It was a good season. I mean, as far as this particular race goes, I think Kevin Pitt 1 lap before me, and I went the next lap, and Caleb the following lap. So, of course, I mean, with the track as hot as it was, I think number I seen was like 131, 132. I mean,
Yeah, it was
tires were
hot.
everything. Yeah, it was stupid hot. Um, I knew, tires were everything, and I mean, I managed to run Kevin down that first run before, that first long run before the pit stop, and I knew when I got around him, it wouldn't be much longer, and he would pit. But I mean, as the leader, if the guy behind you pits, you can't just, jump on the brakes and go down. So, you're always at risk of getting jumped there. But when I came off pit road, I think he had like a 3.5 second lead. I ran that down to about a little over a second, maybe a second and a half, but just too little, too late. He had a big enough of a lead. He could save his tires a little more, and if I did get to him, he could have pushed it and been able to keep what he had. But I mean, second place is a good run, but you know, even if I had won, it wouldn't have been enough for the championship. So I can't complain with what the night that I had.
When we talked to you post race there just a week ago, you said, it's been one of those seasons where you either had a good race or you didn't finish. It was just, it was either one or the other. You had an excellent start to the season. The end had some bad luck there. I think it was at Richmond and Dover as well, and just a combination of different things. But I'm gonna actually put Jake Reeves on the spot. Good friend of yours. He hangs out with you guys a lot. He knows you better than I do. Jake, I'm sure you got 1,001 questions to ask him here for the first season here at QSR.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, what the hell are you racing in the dark for? That's my deal. I'm always racing in the dark. No. But I mean, Daniel, is there one race? I guess you could say one race as far as the playoffs go, where you sat there and thought, "Damn, this right here, this is the part right here," or something. Is there one thing in the playoffs where you wish that something would have went different, to where you maybe had a shot to try to win this whole thing?
Oh yeah, last week at Vegas. I mean, I led half the race. All right, yeah, pretty much led half the race, and went down pit road, and just caution came out at the wrong time and put me back. I think, I don't know, like eighth, ninth, somewhere in there, and then we had ran enough laps that everybody was going to go down and take tires, and then I was stuck in traffic on a hot racetrack trying to get past cars, and me and Jared, we seems like week in, week out, make contact somewhere, and it cost me all my track position, and then my internet went out. So that was exactly what I needed.
You got to pay the bill.
Yeah, yeah, I guess I didn't pay it, but yeah, I mean, as far as playoffs go, I mean, that's the one race that I look at. But if I go back to like the regular season, I mean, there was one race I got parked at Richmond, I believe. I didn't run that one. I was parked for that week. And it was, like Dover, like Bradley had mentioned, I same thing like I do week in, week out, try to save my stuff and wait for everybody to kind of use their stuff up, pick them off one at a time. And then I got right rear hooked. So it's just incidents like that. But it was kind of one of those, I don't want to say it was either a, win, either run up front or have a wreck or something like that. I mean, there was some runs where I just wasn't that great. But still, I mean, you get a 4 race playoff. I mean, you just about had to be perfect. You can't have, the playoffs that short. You can't have any bad races. And last week at Vegas, that's ultimately what cost me a shot. Because me and Caleb went in that race tied, and even if I had finished second to him or third to him or whatever, I could have had a shot tonight. But it is what it is. I mean, it happens. It's racing.
Well, Jake, I mean, you asked him the more personal questions. You asked him why he didn't pay his bill. He kind of caught me off guard with that. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Daniel, I know that it's been a great season. Everybody there at Venom Motorsports and QSR has put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this. So, go ahead and thank him one last time here before we let you go.
Yeah, I mean, this was something that me and Ronnie, we came into the Gen 4 side of it late last season, and just in the off season, we all got together and talked with Quentin, and we had the idea of running this for this season. And we're still trying to figure out what exactly we're going to run next season. I know we're going to run again on Tuesday nights.
Preferably 4 wheels.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. But we haven't quite figured out what we're going to run. But of course, you guys will find out. But yeah, I mean, all of QSR, all of Venom Motorsports. I mean, we put a lot into this. I know Quentin puts a lot on the Gen 4 side, and Ronnie. I mean, big shout out to him. He put a lot of time and effort into this side of it, and Quentin jumping in and helping. And then still hats off to all the guys in here. I mean, I know we had a few cautions tonight, like really early on, but still week in and week out, these guys. I mean, they're clean. There's nothing really ever intentional, but I mean,
Heat of the moment.
yeah, I mean, heat of the moment, yeah, but I mean, sometimes you won't see official races like real high top split races this clean, so especially week in, week out. So still
Right.
hats off to those guys, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, it was a good season.
Well, I'm going to compare Ronnie Joyner to the Twitter version of QSR. He does the same thing on Tuesdays, and that Quentin is putting together on Thursdays with as few characters as possible. Man of few words there, Ronnie Joyner. But yeah, I mean, shout out, yeah, shout out to Ronnie and a shout out to Quentin. It just, it was phenomenal this season, and I'm glad you guys are in a relationship with Jake Reeves, because I heard him there in February during that Podium 500. I wanted to know that guy, and I'm glad you guys brought him on board, and that's pretty awesome as well. So thank you, Daniel, and good luck with whatever endeavors you go through here in the next few months in the off season. I hope to be on the racetrack with you again.
All right, man, looking forward to it. Thank you, guys.
So there he is. It is Daniel Molnex in the number 2, coming home in second, and it looks like probably going to wrap it up second in the points. And that brings us to our winner, Kevin West. And I'm going to let you get a chat there with the redneck announcer. He's going to interview the trailer park dude here on Vspeed.
Yeah, how about that? The redneck announcer with the trailer park dude right here to close out the season. Hell, you can't make that up. But I mean, Kevin, I mean, first off, congratulations on the win. I mean, hell, tell us about your race, buddy, because it's like I said on the broadcast, and I hate to say it, and like I said, I'm probably going to end up on your TikTok after all this, probably, but I didn't even have you picked. I mean, I had you picked in the top 5, but I didn't have you picked to win the race. So just tell us about your race and shut me up and prove me wrong.
Well, that was your first mistake there, Jake. If I could get qualifying figured out in these races, we might be your pick every week. But finally got, qualified in the first 2 rows at least. And fired off. Had a couple quick cautions, but once it went green, we kind of passed 2 or 3 guys, got up to second. I think another caution came out or something like that. Or right as we took the lead, I think. From there, we just kind of tried to manage the tires. Really, the whole thing was this tire management from then on those long green flag runs. And the the first long green flag run, those guys caught me at the end. I got really loose because I think I moved up the track a little too early, trying to gain speed, burnt the right rear off of it. And yeah, as soon as those guys got around me, I decided I was just going to short pit and try to leapfrog them. And we got out to about 3.5 seconds, and they slowly chipped away at it, but we were ahead by enough to hang on there at the end.
And Kevin, I mean, I ask you the same thing I more or less asked Daniel, but you brought up a point of trying to figure out qualifying. Do you think qualifying right here these last 4 races? Do you think that the qualifying was what cost you from trying to be the champion? And if it was not the qualifying, what's one point that sticks out to where you go, damn, I basically just threw away my championship?
I think it was last week at Las Vegas. I think I qualified 9th, something like that. And I mean, with the top 4 in points, as close as we are in speed on the track, when you kind of set yourself up that far behind from the beginning, it's really hard to make up. And yeah, at Las Vegas, we tried short pitting again there. We were several seconds behind, but we managed to come out right even with the leaders. And we got to race in the 57 there, and he decided he was just going to dump me going into turn 3. So we would have had a hell of a championship fight here coming in, but oh well, I guess not.
Sounds like it might be a little bit of beef out of all that. But, I mean, Kevin, first off, like I said, congratulations on the win. Congratulations on a hell of a season. And before we let you go, I know all the trailer park homies want to hear it one more time, Kevin. Thank you, sponsors, and all the shout-outs.
Shout out to the mobile homies over on TikTok. We got over 3,000 of them bad boys now. Appreciate all the follows over there. Shout out to Vspeed. You guys are the best. I say it every time. Shout out to my wife. Shout out to my family. Appreciate their support. And shout out to the QSR admins as well for putting the season on. They did a hell of a job. I'll definitely be back next season.
Kevin West, the trailer park dude. He didn't get the championship, but the trailer park homies, they're going to be happy about a win here tonight at Kansas. Kevin, appreciate your time, and we'll see you next season.
Go make that TikTok, Kevin. Go make that TikTok about
All
Jake
right.
Bruce.
Hey, we are doing it right now, baby.
Yeah, a lot of content there for you.
All right, gotta go.
Kevin West, the victor here tonight, and I appreciate you all season long here. Jake, it was fun. I had a great time. I hope you guys did as well out there watching.
Yeah, I mean, Bradley, I had an absolute blast. I mean, even though you kind of threw me under the bus right there with Kevin just a little bit, but other than that, I mean, that's beside the point. I mean, honestly, shout out to, Caleb Nelson for winning the championship. Kevin West gets the win, but I mean, really, I think, we could sit here and say, as far as like a season closing thing, I could sit here and say that, Caleb Nelson, he's the big winner out of all this. Or Kevin West gets the final win. That he's the big winner. I could sit here and say that, hell, it's me or us with Vspeed, us, for getting the biggest treat out of sitting here and getting to call this. I don't think so. I think there's 2 big winners out of all this. I think it's every single one of these drivers that's suited up, got in their rig, and raced here in the QSR Xfinity Series and put on a hell of a show each and every Tuesday night. And I think the other big winners are fans, honestly, because the people that watch on Vspeed and watch these races each and every Tuesday night, they get a hell of a show. They get good, hard, clean racing. Maybe get some beef sometimes, obviously, as Kevin West was talking about. But, you basically get everything that you want right here with literally one of the hardest cars to drive on iRacing. So I think that's your 2 big winners. It's the field, all the drivers in the QSR, and it's the fans for getting to see some of the best racing on iRacing.
There's your final thoughts for the entirety of this season. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race here on Vspeed. We'll be bringing you flag-to-flag coverage all season long of anything we broadcast, and hopefully we get to be welcome back here at QSR for either the Gen 4, maybe the Xfinity, or maybe we'll have something else on Tuesday. But hopefully you guys are subscribed and you'll get to see every single bit of it. But, Jake, I thank you again. It was a good time. A lot of things going on here in the last couple days. We talked about their pre-race, and I'd like to shout out Quentin Stewart and Ronnie Joyner for what they put together here to treat us to some great racing and get my mind off of things here tonight. You watched another great broadcast for Adam Baker, Morgan Cook, Eddie Smith. I could go on and on. Logan Threlkeld, Christian Hill, Alex Gagnon, Alec Martinez. The list goes on and on. We had, I believe we had a little Kevin Bueno here on Tuesday night there one week. So just so many people here at Vspeed that make it all possible. We thank all of you guys as well. This is Bradley Cooper telling you guys to have a great rest of your week. We will see you Wednesday night for Racing Revolution. Until then, take care, everybody.